Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be taking this piece of rusty rebar and I'm going to make a little knife out of it. I do have some troubling news. I am quickly running out of charcoal. Most likely after this video I have maybe one, maybe two short videos worth of charcoal left, and then I'll have to switch to coal. So that's unfortunate, but with that said, I'm going to throw this in the fire and I will show you guys what I'm going to do and how I'm going to make it. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten this back section here where the end of the handle is going to be, just a little bit, just so that I have a bit of a thinner piece to hold with these tongs, because as you can see, they don't fit the rebar very well at all. The next step, I'm going to actually have to widen the jaws of these tongs again. But before that, I need to make a spot where I can actually grip the piece of rebar. I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and modify these tongs so that they fit. So now that I have the tongs resized, I'm going to go ahead and finish making the handle portion before I move on to the blade. This piece may be a little too short. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to go cut a different piece that's longer from that same piece of rebar. I kind of cut this thinking I was going to make a hidden tang, but then I remembered that I'm not allowed to use any power tools, which makes me want to make a solid metal knife, and I also want to keep the rebar texturing intact in the handle just because it looks cool. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll come back and begin again on the knife. Now that I've got a much longer piece, I'm going to go ahead and forge the handle. So now that I have the handle forged, I can actually grip it much easier since it's a flat surface. Since I have that done, I can now move on to making the actual blade itself. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and let's begin. So, the pin just broke in my tongs. I think I made the pinhole too small. I'm gonna go drill it wider. I'm also gonna grab a piece of scrap stock that I can make a pin out of. I'm gonna go ahead and make a pin, and then I will resume our actual project that I'm trying to work on right now, which is the rebar knife. So I've gone ahead and riveted my tongs back together, and I have the knife in the forge. I have cut off the tip of the knife piece to start forming the tip. And once I'm done forming the tip, I'm going to go ahead and bevel it, and then I will file it, and I'll probably also use a little bit of sandpaper just to get it to a satin finish. But then that's going to be it for this video. Alright, so I now have the knife forged pretty well. It's nice and centered and everything, so I'm going to go ahead and move over to my vise in my workshop, and I'm going to start filing. grit, or sorry, 60 grit sandpaper to polish up the blade here. I think I'm going to stop using sandpaper around 600 grit. That'll give it a satin finish. So, I found out that there were some deep scratches in the blade from the files. I tried using a finer file to get those scratches out. That didn't work, so I'm going to go ahead and use the angle grinder with a sandpaper disc to just lightly get rid of all of those so I can continue with the sandpaper. With the blade polished, I have a couple more things I need to do. I need to actually sharpen the blade, and then I need to use a wire brush on the handle to clean off some of the scale and some of the other things. I could use my regular scale brush that I use for getting scale off of the metal when it's red hot. That works fine. I also have some wire wheel attachments for my handheld drill, so I'm going to be using those instead to clean that up. And then I'll be sharpening this with a round sharpener like you'd use for a kitchen knife. So I've cleaned up the handle. The knife looks pretty good. I'm going to heat the blade back up and see if I can quench it. Very rarely is rebar quenchable, just because usually it's made of a more mild steel. So I'm not exactly sure if I'll be able to, but I'm going to try quenching it in water just to heighten the likelihood I'll get a hard edge, at which point I will clean it back up with the wire brush over there, temper it, and then wire wheel it one more time. That'll be the finished product. I'll sharpen it again after that. So here's the finished knife. I'm pretty happy that I was able to make this with just the very simple tools that I have down there at my primitive forge. I was able to harden it, and then as a byproduct of that I had to temper it as well, so I'm actually very happy with how this turned out. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, a comment, and please subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.